Hey y'all, it's Melody with Design by Melody. I have a 12 by 12 scrapbook layout for you here. This page actually started with the Studio Calico February kit, and it's called Sugar Rush. I really like this kit. I actually skipped over my January kit just so I can go ahead and start with the February kit. And this is one of the first layouts I did. So far, I think I've finished 6 layouts. This is the only process video I actually have at this point for this kit, but I will share everything that I finished once I finish, and I may do another process video. I'm just not sure yet. I tend to work on them in pieces, which makes it harder to record because I'm not doing it at one time. And I really try to make sure I do the ones that I'm going to upload during the day, just so the lighting is a little bit better. This one was actually done at night, which is why it has not as good lighting, but you still are able to see what's going on. So what I'm doing right now, I have this envelope that I made at Archivers in one of their demonstrations that they did in the store. It was just showing how to use the envelope scoreboard. I can't think of what the name of it is right now, but it's the one that came out, a little while ago that's been so popular, and I really do like it. I'm just not sure if I have a need for it, so I haven't purchased it. But I'm going to use that envelope on this layout because the greens match perfectly to the background paper. And I have this 4x6 card that came in, let's see if I can tell you where it came. It came from, I'm not sure where it came from at this moment. I will put it, let me just look here. Actually, it came from the Echo Park Paper Company 4x6 journal and accent cards from the Hello Summer collection. It's one of those little envelope packs, or those little card packs that I got. So I just scored it in half, folded it, and I put it right in the envelope, and that's where I'm going to put my journaling. It's hidden journaling, but it's not like it's something I don't want anybody to see. It's just that it didn't fit well showing on the page, so I wanted to do a little something different and use this envelope. When at all possible, I really do try to use everything in my stash. I just want to make sure I don't keep things for too long or forget about them. So little things like this, where it's that envelope that I created at Archivers, I wanted to make sure I used it, and it just worked well to be a different design element on this page, and it was a place to put the journaling. And also, what you've seen me do is take a couple pages from a 6x6 pad and cut them in pieces to put behind this block with my journaling and my photo. So I'm just building those up so they look like larger pieces than what they actually are. My colors for this page are white, pinks, greens, and gray. And I just used the 2 different pieces to help line them up so it looks like one continuous piece behind the photo block. This is a large doily. I actually got it from a paper supply store that was local. They've actually, gone out of business now, but I bought a whole bunch of them, and it's just a lace doily. I'm going to put my title right here in this blank spot right above my envelope. You're going to see me fiddle around with the title a little bit since the tails on the P and the Y hang down a little bit. I wasn't really sure what to do, how to line up the rest of the letters without having a gap below it. So what I'm going to do is take out some of this washi tape, and since I am using gray on the layout, I decided to go ahead and use this washi tape from actually Pick Your Plum. I'm not sure who actually manufactures it, but Pick Your Plum actually sold it. So I'm starting with one piece first, and then I'm going to go back and add 2 pieces of washi tape just so that the letters S and O for So Happy don't blend in so much with the background. They are circular letters. They're actually from the dollar bin at Target. I just really like the size of them. They're on a white background with gray lettering. So it's going to take me a little bit, but I will go back and do that. I'll move those letters and do that. I'm going to cut this doily in half so I can put it on 2 different sides of the photo, make it stretch out just a little bit more so you can see it on either side. The white base that the photo is matted on was kind of blending in with the background a little bit, so I wanted to make sure that you could see it. So I separated the background from the white with that doily, as well as with the paper layers. This sticker is from a previous kit, actually. It was the Hello Forever for Studio Calico 6x12 sticker sheet. It was actually from the November kit, and I have a few stickers left on it, very few actually. You can see it at the top of the screen there behind my arm. Most of it is blank. Most of it is empty, but I do have this sticker that has the days of the week. And I'm sorry if you hear Kalen in the background. He's actually playing behind me, trying to be quiet, but well, you know how that goes. Not as quiet as could be. And these thickers are actually from American Crafts. They're the Delight font in red foam. And they're actually not a true red. They're more of a pinky red, so they go perfectly with this background page. I also have these tags that I'm pulling out, and these are cut apart from a 12x12 sheet. And I will put on my blog, as well as in the more info bar below this video, the actual supplies I use. So if you want to go back and see where everything came from, you can look there. So I'm going to use this green tag, and I'm going to cut the tail off of it again, just to be able to layer it at the bottom of it to make it look like a larger continuous piece. I'm putting a flair badge up here, as well as these enamel dots that I created. They're not stuck down yet. I'm just putting them in different places. These are the ones that I made with some Perler beads, and I did post a video. Actually, I posted a blog post on this a couple weeks ago. It may have been over a month ago, actually, at this point, on my blog. And if you haven't seen that, you can go to www.designbymelody.com, but I will link that as well in the more info bar below if you're interested in seeing how I did that and making some of your own. I actually highly suggest doing this. If you have the time to commit to initially making them, they save so much time and so much money later throughout the time of using them. I think I have 6 different colors now that I've made these enamel dots with. And there's 1,000 beads in each thing, and I cut some of them in half. So, I mean, you have hundreds and hundreds of enamel dots to use, and they'll last forever. So I've just put them in 3 different spaces for the embellishment clusters, and I really like these hearts that came in the kit. They're plastic, I think they're called plastic wonky hearts. But they're just too large. I've used a lot of the small ones, so I don't have them left, and they just look awkward to me with where they're hanging out. You can't see the whole star, so it just looks strange to me. I'm seeing if any other embellishments will look good on this page before I really adhere everything down. And I'm just checking, and I pull out this tiny heart, and it's actually a cut. Excuse me, it's actually a cut from a Cricut project I did a couple months, or probably a couple years ago, honestly. That's just in my stash. I think it was actually made with the basic cartridge that came with my Cricut, and I just use adhesive red vinyl. I use a lot of that adhesive vinyl for labeling different things, putting Kalen's name on his cups and book bag and things like that. So I just use the scrap pieces to cut out a few other shapes like hearts or stars, which I can use on my scrapbook layouts throughout the years, honestly, because it's taking me that long to use them up. But it's not a bad thing to have that. So I've got my cluster done up here. I've got washi, my little enamel dots, a sticker from that Hello Forever sticker sheet, and a flair button, or flair badge from Freckled Fawn. Then I've got an embellishment cluster below the photos, which again I have washi tape. I have that red heart. I have my DIY enamel dots. I also have the end of that tag, and then a sticker from an American Crafts sticker sheet. It's the Accent Sticker Book by American Crafts, the Remarks one, which is that black and white you see at the top. And again, guys, I want to apologize for the little bit of noise you hear in the background. Kalen just cannot handle being quiet. He's not saying anything, but he's playing with toys, so you hear those knocking around. But so I'm just adhering everything down to the page. I've got everything. I had it laid out, but I didn't have anything adhered down really because I just wanted to make sure everything fit properly. Now the only problem with doing this is I end up with pieces that aren't quite stuck down, so I have to keep going back and making sure everything's glued down properly. And I don't know if you noticed when I was playing with that sticker that had the days of the week on it, I pulled a little bit of the background page off where that pink stripe is at the bottom of the page. You can see a little bit of it in the video and you can see a little bit of it in person, but it honestly is such a minor piece that there's so much else going on in this page that it really just kind of blends in. You can't really notice it. Now, if it was on the red or the green, you probably could notice it better than what you can on the pale pink, but luckily it wasn't a huge deal. I really like this page, and I thought about covering it up, but it just didn't work with the way I had set out the page, so I didn't want to go back and put that in. I'm using this two-way glue pen here by Martha Stewart Crafts to glue down my enamel dots, and then the larger ones I will actually go back and use the Tombow Mono Multi Glue, which is what I'm doing right now. And of course my glue was clogged up a little bit, so I had to unclog it, but this works perfectly with these enamel dots. This Tombow Mono Multi Glue is probably one of my favorite glues to have on hand, and I've had this bottle for over a year, and I use it all the time, so it's definitely worth having. I got a little bit of glue on my photo, so I was just erasing that off. And I already had all my journaling written out. Journaling is probably the hardest thing I have. I know exactly what I want to say, but it just doesn't seem to come out right on my page. So I went ahead and pre-wrote this, and then since it is just a white journaling card, I didn't have any lines on it, so I very lightly drew some lines on it just to make sure that, you know, it doesn't get all bunched up on one side. I wanted to make sure it was evenly spaced out and just looked nice. Now, I'm one of those scrapbookers that's not totally happy with their handwriting, but I've embraced using my handwriting on my layouts, and I do still print a couple of things on my computer. I would love to have a typewriter, but I don't have one right now. Maybe eventually in the future I will get one, but I have not found one. My fear is that I'll buy one and then I won't be able to find ink for it, and then I'll just have issues. So I've held off on that for right now, but eventually that's kind of what my goal is. And I drew those lines so very lightly that it's pretty easy just to erase off. And you can't even tell. So I'm going to slide that right in here. I'm going to grab a few more things to stick on, and then I'll be done. What I'm playing around with here is I'm trying to debate whether or not to use the stamp set that came in the kit. It's just got a straight line on it. And so I'm going to use it to do a few little details around the edge of the flap on the envelope, just to show a little bit more detail that it is an envelope. And then on the top and bottom of the pink sheet, the pink piece of paper, the pink diagonal stripe. So I'm using my Memento Tuxedo black ink, and I'm stamping it off onto another piece of paper so it shows up more as a gray ink versus a black ink. And that's pretty much all I'm going to do. Just a few minor details. And then I'm going to put a green enamel dot right there on the flap of the envelope so you can see it. And then another one right here. Right there on top, right above the So Happy. So that is pretty much it. That finishes my layout, and I'm going to show you a couple still photos here, but please visit my blog for more information, more photos, and then the detail list, of course. Thanks for joining me. Bye, guys.